Hey, I'm Cece Summers, and welcome to the Groom of Gallagher Mansion. This game is from the same developers that made Sunny Day Jack, and it's got a lot of trigger warnings. That is about all I know. Let's just fucking get into it. The stories I've heard about the old Gallagher Mansion. The tales and whispers and rumors. Home to decadence and luxury in the days of yore, now abandoned out of fear and left to rot. The obfuscated photos, the promise of lost inheritance, and a history stained by misfortune and blood, spilt in greed and ambition. None of them have done this place justice. Quite the opposite, in fact. They all made it sound much more exciting. A quick look at Gallagher Mansion doesn't suggest anything special. It's just one of many other ancient, abandoned, century-plus-old estates around here. I never got the hype. These decrepit old places litter this town like fallen leaves no one has bothered to rake up. It's a spot for college dorks to drink and hope no one notices. An occasional haunted house for young adventurers, and home to a few basic ghost stories that some of the older locals take pride in. Heritage and horror in one neat package. You'd never notice anything extraordinary just by looking at it. Sure, close to midnight, an eerie old mansion far off the main road will spook you well enough, especially if you're alone. Luckily, I'm neither of these things. Well, technically I am alone, but not by myself. I fondle the phone in my hands for comfort while trying to avoid the thorns of the rose. No need to prick myself just yet, according to Taylor. Gallagher Mansion is abandoned. It's been abandoned for most of its existence. So why doesn't it look like a pile of splinters? Why are the grounds not overgrown with weeds and vines and poison ivy?
Team, do you copy? What's the situation on the field? Over.
Doing fine, Taylor. In fact, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for something more than a light breeze, maybe a darker and stormier night to really set the mood. Over.
Don't jinx yourself now, buddy. Optimal weather conditions will make the mission easier for you and me both. Over.
You know, you don't need to say over when we're on a phone call, right? We can both talk and hear each other at the same time. Over. A pause. I can almost feel Taylor's pout on the other side of the line. I'm serious, though. So far, this may as well be an evening stroll.
Keep your guard up. If my sources are accurate, I'm like 90% confident we'll find something in this place.
90% confident. That's a lot of confidence. The voice in my ear is Taylor Potts, my longtime dorm bestie at Zypher University and the president of the college Occult History and Sciences Investigation Club, aka the OSIC. Oh, sick. Meanwhile, there's me, the vice president, if only because I'm the only other member who consistently shows up to the meetings. And that's mostly because I feel bad for Taylor putting in all this work for the club. That's why I'm here tonight, of course. Why I'm at the steps of Gallagher Mansion, dressed to some very uncomfortable nines, with a desperate ghost hunter walking me through a desperate plan. Long story short, the student union is a meeting away from dropping support for the OSIC. We've had trouble retaining membership for a while now, and the facility we use for our meetings is utterly wasted on the two of us. Their words, not mine.
What do you mean you're done funding the club?
The OHSIC is an incredibly important resource for students to explore their spirituality, their heritage, their culture.
Listen, Mr. Potts, I've pulled enough strings letting you have the club for so long in the first place, but I can't defend you when we're not seeing results.
You still have a freaking anime club!
All they do is watch movies and spend money on imported snacks. That's gotta be violating some kind of rule about appropriating funds or something.
First of all, it's the Japanese Culture and Heritage Club. Secondly, they actually retain regular members, as do many other clubs. If you can't engage with the students of this university, you're not really providing anything of value. Space is a premium too. You know that everyone on campus is going gaga for that newly proposed juggling club. And they'd appreciate a room that's barely being used as it is.
The juggling club? The juggling club! You can't do that to us!
Ousted by the juggling club. That's gotta hurt. I think it's the juggling club part that's gotten to him the most. Taylor's logic? Clowns juggle things. Clowns are scary and evil. Therefore, the juggling club, by default, is scary and evil.
There's gotta be another way! Please! What do you need us to do to save the club?
All you need is a few more members. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you can show us that the OSICO is still relevant to the student body.
OHSIC.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that.
That's how it went down yesterday morning, according to Taylor. Later that afternoon, before I could start going through the motions for our meeting agenda...
Okay, here's the plan. You know that old house way out there on the corner of town? That old Gallagher place where all those deaths and murders happened ages ago? We've never checked it out! We thought it was too boring, too vanilla. But no! Maybe we made a mistake trying to find new things when we've left the biggest stone in town unturned.
Okay, but has anything changed about the place since the last time we looked at it?
Tomorrow, we're gonna investigate the old dump. I just know there's something we can find in there. It's our last hope. Vice Prez, tonight we're hitting the books. Research like your life depends on it.
Aye, aye. And by we're investigating, Taylor meant that I go there in person, by myself, while he provides intel via earpiece back at HQ. HQ is Taylor's car, of course. Maybe we could paint it like Ecto-1 and get a few members that way?
Status? You've been a little quiet. Over.
Back to the over thing, huh? Oh, I'm doing okay, just thinking.
Don't get cold feet now, buddy. We need you now more than ever. You've dealt with the paranormal before, and you've rocked their world. Are you worried about your lines?
No, I've got the script down all right. Though... Okay, so I can choose what kind of attire I'm in. A tuxedo, a gown, or just general, unspecified wedding attire. You better believe I am going in the biggest, poofiest, fucking bedazzled gown you ever did see. Well, I'm worried about tripping on my gown. Can I at least take my heels off or roll the skirt up a few inches? And do I still have to do the veil thing? Over.
Sorry, no can do. You've got to look the part for when you fall into the cold, dead arms of Elias Gallagher. Over.
Understood. I'll look as classically ravishing as possible. Over. As I say that, I quietly adjust my outfit anyway. Taylor can't see me over the earpiece anyhow. I may as well be comfortable, and maybe even a little disheveled, as befits someone with my sorrowful tale. I'm at the door.
How's the rose?
Immaculate.
Then go for it, buddy. You're about to change our lives.
I got this. I don't know what I got, but I got this. Can I ask you one more question before I start the mission?
Shoot.
Did, like, court entertainers or whatever still exist in Victorian times?
I don't really know if they did. Or why you're asking me that?
I'm just saying, what if Elias Gallagher isn't the only ghost left in this mansion? What if I run into his personal clown?
Ghost clown? No! Why would you even suggest such a thing? I don't want to think about it.
But I could be in danger! Unless maybe it was a nice clown who could cook.
Quit stalling and start the mission already.
There goes Taylor hammering in the no fun allowed sign. Oh well. I turn my attention back to the facade of the mansion. It really does look too well maintained for an abandoned building. The cool brass handle turns and the door glides open. The first thing I notice is how stale the air tastes inside the manor. The second thing I notice is how cold it is in here, even compared to the light breeze outside. The atmosphere is unnaturally frigid, though not enough to make me bail out to grab a jacket, so long as I'm quick. The place has certainly seen better days. Hacker voice, I'm in.
How's it looking in there, bud?
A lot more promising now that I'm inside. Perfectly ripe for a haunting, complete with a creepy portrait upstairs. In fact, you'd probably have an asthma attack with all this dust.
Is your sixth sense tingling?
I would die. I'm allergic to dust. I would be keeled over. I don't know why, but it is super cold in here. As long as I'm in and out of here fast, I don't think I need to worry about it too much.
That's reasonable. I think it's time to summon a ghost then.
Okay. Roger that. About time I put that single year of high school theater to good use. Well, here we go. Prick my finger on one of the thorns, scatter a few of the rose petals around, then cue the monologue. I suck in a breath as the thorn pricks my index, channeling the pain into a sufficiently hammy performance. Alas, my poor, aching heart. I clutch at my chest with one hand and lay the back of the other against my forehead, crying out into the empty halls before collapsing into a heap. The noise reverberates against the walls in a cacophony of echoes. Woe is me, to have been abandoned so coldly at the altar. Why did the love of my life forsake me so? Today was set to be the most joyous day of my mortal existence, and yet all I feel is the pull of despair into my darkest days thus. Oh, woe upon such an unfortunate soul as mine. I can hear some slow clapping and a stifled guffaw from the earpiece. All I wanted in life was to know the warmth of a lover's touch. Won't anyone take pity on me? I let loose another pathetic sound of anguish while plucking off more petals and close my eyes.
This is my cue to throw tomatoes at the stage, right?
Tomatoes mean the performance sucks. I'm doing great, dummy.
All right. Keep up the good work then, buddy old pal.
I glance around my surroundings. I almost feel like the painting on the second floor is judging me silently, but it must be my imagination. Why should I continue to live a life unfulfilled? I almost think it better to sleep in eternity, dreaming forevermore, rather than to suffer this cruel reality. I pluck off the last of the rose petals and cast away the stem. The deep crimson speckles of my blood glimmer starkly in the light of the moon, now dripping through the cobweb-covered windows. Perhaps I shall die as I lived, alone with naught but my own sorrow. If God or some kind and gentle soul has lent their ears to my pleas, then take me now. I lower my head and let a few more tears flow down my cheeks. The ritual is now complete.
Truly a riveting performance. 10 out of 10, Oscar-worthy, or whatever.
Excuse you. That was absolutely Oscar-worthy. Hey, don't kill the atmosphere. The temperature suddenly drops, to the point where it feels like my blood is freezing in my veins. Something inside my brain screams at my legs to run, but I can't move. I raise my head just in time to see the rose petals scattered across the foyer, swirling up into the air, coalescing back onto the stem I threw at the foot of the steps.
Alack, what blood is this, which stains the stony entrance of this sepulchre?
Wait, who was that? What's happening over there?
Oh, a ghost. He's headless. Well, I mean, he has a head, but it's just like, removable. My jaw drops as the vague shape of a man materializes from the top of the staircase. My mouth is suddenly too dry to form a coherent response. Elias Gallagher, in all his undead and ephemeral glory, is gliding down the steps towards me. Holy shit.
Fresh blood in my esteemed estate, stained on a red rose no less. A tragic sight indeed.
Take pity on me, sad, lonely soul.
But not quite so tragic as the one who stands before me. Pray tell, who are you? what is your purpose here?
Well,
Bud? Hey, bud. What's going on over there?
Elias Gallagher, Lord of this manor, my name is... Cecily. And I am but someone's bride. I am Cecily, a bride who was abandoned at the altar on the day of my own wedding, with a broken heart in my chest and tears in my eyes. I sought solace in a quiet place away from the ceremony and found myself here.
Oh, you poor dear.
It's crazy that I was able to keep my composure and remember my lines after a decapitated ghost with tig-ol' bitties shows up.
You and I are not at all dissimilar indeed. I am well acquainted with tragedy, and know that your wounds need tending to at once.
At once. I think a hug would help.
Tell me, would you like to forget the cur who broke your heart?
Yeah. Hook, line, and sinker. Oh, yes. I would not hesitate if there was such a way to ease my sorrows, but I fear it won't be a simple matter.
Nonsense, my dear. I can melt away your anxiety and regrets, for it is within my power as long as you remain inside these four walls. Now, will you accept this rose, darling?
I'm not crazy about the whole not leaving thing. He holds out the rose I shredded up not too long ago, the blood gone from the petals and thorns absent from the stem.
Hey, bud. What's going on there? The line's going haywire over here.
I reach up towards Elias to take the rose from his hand, and our knuckles brush against one another. His touch is deathly cold. I will.
I'm requesting a report. Do you need backup? Answer me.
Wonderful, darling.
Elias's hand glides up to my cheek, caressing it gently and phasing through my skin.
Now even death won't do us part.
As long as I don't leave, right? The distant cry of a carnival mystery. A long wail, a pained moan, looping through the walls and dancing on the flowers. The petals shake, stamens and pistils tremble, and perfume avalanches upon me, a billion scents as strong as a forgotten sun, strong enough to sting my eyes. Ah! I rub my eyes and open them to a blue ceiling. What the hell? Where am I? As I ask, the wails and moans shaking my bones cease. They were my breath. Just my breath. And that carnival mystery? My phone's still ringing, but it's not in any of my pockets. This wedding garb was a huge mistake. My hands scamper around the sheets of the bed, searching for my phone, trying to answer Taylor. Hang on. Bed? My eyes remember to look at more than the ceiling, and along with the rest of my senses waking up and processing information, sure enough, I've found myself in some ancient bedroom. I catch a flicker of light amongst the disheveled sheets and snatch it to me. My phone's screen glows like a comforting little lantern. I accept Taylor's call and...
Oh, God! I've tried you like 50 times already since the call dropped. What the hell happened?
Did you not come and get me? I don't really know. Where am I?
Are you still in the mansion?
Did you not come and get me? Some friend you are. Somehow I had forgotten where I was, what had happened. My cheek twinged with a memory of a chill, ethereal touch. Elias. That touch from Elias. A ghost touched me! Right? That actually did happen, and it wasn't just some sleep-deprived hallucination I had from all of Taylor's ramblings. Right?
Hey, bud, don't clam up now.
Oh, I guess I'm, not outside, at least.
Describe your location.
Well, everything around me is still dimly lit in a morose shade of blue, so that's a good sign. Well, good might not be the right word. And the decor certainly looks like the... Wait, hang on. This is still inside the mansion, right? Lights and decor are one thing, but this room sure doesn't look like it's moments from falling apart. The sheets I'm lying on are coarse but in perfect condition, as fresh as the day they were woven on some state-of-the-art pedal loom. The mattress holds my weight with a sense of duty, and the pillows couldn't be fluffier. The paint on the walls, which were peeling away in the foyer, hold immaculately tight here with not a chip in sight, no cobwebs or holes or even a speck of dust floating upon the air. The portraits and paintings all hang straight and untorn, with gilded golden frames, the pots and vases without any cracks in their porcelain. Even the air is far cry from moss and bird's nests if you ignore the stale taste. And now that I'm calmer, I also notice that I'm wearing a pair of soft, silken gloves I don't recall bringing with me when I came in. Were these a gift from Elias? Hey, hang on. Look at this bedroom. I take a quick set of photos and upload them to Taylor.
Wait, a bedroom?
I guess. It's a lot nicer than the foyer. Nothing's falling apart, nothing's stained. It does look like part of the same house, though. Same general decor.
Huh. Maybe the door was locked and nobody got in? This place is a known party hub, after all. Maybe the co-eds and whoever else wrecked everything they could reach, but they just couldn't get into here.
That seems unlikely. A century of no one visiting would still do damage to a locked room. It's not like it's sealed away from the rest of the world. Unless... Was it just this room? A special place for me? Hey, Taylor, can I ask you for a favor?
Yeah, what's up?
Can you, brief me on the mission again?
You're kidding, right?
I just woke up, and I'm pretty sure there's a ghost floating around, eager to meet me, so come on.
Yeah, alright, you're right. Let's play 20 questions to catch you up to speed here.
So why did I come here? To marry a ghost?
You're really asking me? Sorry.
Taylor inhales deeply before continuing.
You're on a field mission to investigate Gallagher Mansion, so we can find evidence that ghosts exist, therefore proving that the OHSIC still has value to Zephyr University Student Union. Besides finding a ghost, we're also looking to see if we can figure out where that old Gallagher fortune might be. Treasure hunting isn't our primary goal, but it's worth keeping an eye out for. The newspaper clippings we found always said how huge the inheritance was, but some assets were never accounted for in the banks. Rumor has it that the Gallaghers kept part of the fortune somewhere in the estate.
That sounds about right. Thanks for the recap. Who were the Gallaghers? So who exactly were the Gallaghers in the grand scheme of things?
The Gallaghers were a well-off military family from Europe who came to America in the mid-1800s. Archibald Gallagher, the patriarch of the family, found success as a cornmeal baron.
Cornmeal? Yum.
He married a woman named Mildred, and together they had a total of 7 children. All of the Gallaghers were quite exceptional, except for...
Elias.
Elias was the black sheep of the family. All of his other siblings were born strong and healthy, but Elias's birth came with a lot of complications.
And that's all his fucking fault. He was bedridden for most of his life, wasn't he?
Pretty much the epitome of the sickly Victorian child trope.
I don't think you should put it that way. I can almost hear Taylor's shrug from the earpiece. How did they die?
A lot of rumors say it was some kind of curse, but no one can agree on why they were cursed to begin with. The eldest child died first in a horse accident or something. After that, it was a chain of freak accidents in short succession, completely unrelated to the previous deaths. But without fail, it would always kill the next eldest child like a line of dominoes, hitting the rest of them in some pretty gruesome ways.
Yikes.
I think Archibald and Mildred Gallagher weren't too happy about having to write Elias down as their sole heir once the others were gone, but somehow he'd managed to dodge the curse.
Considering his head is no longer attached to his body, kind of wondering how true that statement is.
Then, not long after amending the will, the parents drowned in a bridge collapse on what was supposed to be a leisurely carriage ride. Same energy as scented candles setting fire to your apartment.
Talk about depressing.
There was, still is, plenty of speculation about Elias spinning elaborate murder schemes to take down his family. But the thing is, Elias had few people to write letters to, and even fewer people who'd write back. Elias became a permanent shut-in after becoming the head of the Gallagher estate. I'd probably do that too if it happened to me.
Sheesh, no kidding. So who killed him? Elias himself was murdered long after the Gallagher curse had axed off the rest of his family. But who killed him?
That would be Violet and Gerard Dupont.
Who's
Gerard
that?
was the Gallagher groundskeeper, and after the rest of the family died, he decided to get a little ambitious. Don't think that guy was gay, though. Otherwise, I imagine he would have gone after Elias himself.
Oh, I got you. Like, he would have tried to, like, marry Elias.
So, he introduced his sister Violet to Elias as a fellow heiress without a partner. You can guess what happened next, right?
The whole courtship dance, a romantic proposal, and a wedding to write home about.
Everything but the wedding, yes. According to the newspapers we dug up, Elias died the night before his wedding ceremony while the DuPonts were caught red-handed tearing the place apart, looking for the Gallagher fortune.
Why? Why wouldn't they wait until after the wedding ceremony so they get the mansion? That doesn't make any sense. And then the rest is history. This feels different compared to last time. You know, this mission feels different compared to the last time I had an encounter with the paranormal. Taylor?
That's because the last mission I sent you on wasn't a real thing. That was a fake paranormal incident.
Taylor, I am liking you less and less. Less and less.
Hey, after we posted your reactions on the internet, we did get some new members.
For a little bit. Then they left and it was just you and me again. Taylor lets out a deep sigh on the other end, and that's the end of that. I think I'm caught up now.
Of course, bud.
I glance around my surroundings again. The door leading out of this room, out to somewhere only Elias could know, beckoned me forward. I had to know what lay beyond. I think I'm going to explore more.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold your horses! Aren't you feeling lightheaded or dizzy or anything?
Just a little groggy. Why?
You know, I've been trying to reach you for 2 hours! Were you even aware you've been gone that long? Maybe you had, like, a concussion or something.
Where are you? Does that mean that you've been sitting in your car for 2 hours, just calling me, thinking something happened to me, and had no attempts to come into the mansion to see if I'm cool? I'm out of the club. I have no idea, but I don't think I had a concussion. That touch, that really did knock me out, huh? I can barely remember. Elias didn't seem to think it was a threatening act. Did he want to put me to sleep, or does he not know his own strength? When I collapsed, what did you hear?
I kept hearing that guy's voice, and a rush of air. So, was it really Elias?
This isn't another one of your fake incidents, is it? I know I shouldn't have asked that. Taylor wouldn't pull that on me twice. I don't know. Seems like something Taylor would do. But after everything I've been through tonight, it jumped off my tongue in desperate skepticism.
No, of course not. So you really did see the Elias Gallagher?
I think I touched him, too.
Okay, I'm coming in. We have to get you out of there.
Now? You couldn't have decided that? 2 hours ago? Wait, hang on. Why? This is what we came for, though. And we don't know what's going on now that Elias is active. Listen, Taylor, you're the one who's the actual ghost fanatic. I only hang out with you at the OSHA because...
OHSIC.
Oh, whatever. Look, you finally have your proof that ghosts really do exist, and now you're calling a retreat?
It's a tactical retreat. I was kind of prepared to find a ghost, but not for you to go MIA for 2 whole hours.
Okay, you keep emphasizing this 2 whole hours thing. I don't know if you realize how horrible this makes you look. Okay, he's got a fair point here. I almost feel a little guilty at how hard he's hyperventilating. Calm the fuck down, bro. Calm down. Taylor, please calm down. I'm still here. I'm okay. Take a few deep breaths.
Fine. Yeah. Deep breaths.
Like if you were really that concerned. Taylor's labored breaths slowly even out as I imagine him wiping some non-existent sweat off his brow.
So, if that ghost had the power to put you to sleep, he must be a lot stronger than we anticipated.
I don't think he's gonna hurt me, though. After all, he wants to court me.
You two just met! That's rushing into things!
And also, he's a ghost. So much for catching his breath. That was our plan, wasn't it? To trick him into thinking that I was also supposed to get married? And, well, we succeeded. I can just barely hear the faint gnashing of teeth on the other end.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm still coming in to give you a hand. I trust that guy about as far as I can throw him. Which isn't very far, well, considering, you know, he's a ghost.
I think that's something you should have done years ago. Well, if you're coming in, I'm heading out. Don't know what I'll find, but I'm bored of this bedroom.
No, you stay right there. We have no idea what that dude's up to.
Well, according to you, I was sent on this field mission because I have the stronger body and no dust allergies. Just stay on the line, all right? Let's see what happens. The door opens to a house alive. The chill is gone, and the dim light from the windows flows through the halls like a river undammed. I think this is the same house after all. The walls are chipped, the floorboards creak, and 100 ornate doors beckon to be opened, a mystery behind each and every one. I'm just as lost now as I was before I fell asleep. I'm out of the bedroom. No signs of Elias or any other ghost for that matter. I think I'm still in the mansion.
Ugh. Okay then, I'll stay put for now. But if we're gonna do this, then you need to give me a status report.
Okay, so you know how cold I was when I first entered? That's not a problem anymore. The whole manor is... What's one step down from cozy? No response except what might be Taylor biting his lip. As he contemplates the situation, I hear another voice. It sounds... happy? It's humming a melody unfamiliar to me, all at once wistful and joyous and despondent. The harmony of dissonances fill the house, even though they barely outdo a whisper. And despite the echoes crawling like slugs along the walls, I know exactly where the sound originates. I think I know where Elias is. I'm going to try to find my way back to him.
If the house really has returned to its full glory, is it because of Elias? If it's not freezing in there anymore, that has to mean something.
It means I'm dead. Turn me into a ghost.
I think you've really awakened him.
Yeah. Care to elaborate?
Your presence has given him something he hasn't had in forever. I think this house conforms to his spectral energy. You've made him happy.
Aw.
You've satisfied part of his wish for romance, but I want you to be very careful about how that wish gets entirely fulfilled, okay?
Are you trying to shame me and crush my dreams of having sex with a ghost? Okay. I haven't been paying much attention to where I'm going, but my feet have walked on without a second thought, through twisting halls to another dimly lit room. And to Elias Gallagher. I peek into the study as quietly as I can, sans the creaky door hinges, so as to not disturb Elias. I spy him holding a few volumes of some old book collection in his arms as he peruses a crowded shelf. I can't help but notice the content smile resting on his lips. Once satisfied with his haul, Elias floats over to an armchair and sets the books on a nearby accent table, making sure they're in his preferred order. A pot of tea and some snacks wait for him to sit down. Wait, can a ghost even eat or drink? Contemplating the question, I lean forward to get a better look, the door creaking as is unintentionally pushed further open. Hey, buddy. Oops, I've ruined his reading time. He spotted me.
Oh, my dearest. Wait there.
He hurries over, ghostly tail slicing through the carpet. In a quiet instant, Elias floats before me, chest puffed dramatically.
Please, my dear. You mustn't wander around. Things remain out of sorts.
Well, how the fuck was I supposed to know? You just kind of dumped me off in some bedroom. I do my best to ignore Taylor's annoyed groan. But when I heard you humming, my feet began to move of their own accord. Why, you must have summoned me here to grant you company. Sure, the line was cheesy, but it wasn't wholly inaccurate. I was drawn to Elias somehow. By something.
And here I thought I had been quiet so as to not disturb your slumber. Sincerest apologies for rousing you from your rest.
Apology not accepted. Don't wake me up when I'm sleeping. No need for apologies, my dear, for I had already awoken. Elias cocks his head.
And yet, that changes little about the unreadiness of this manor.
Well, instead of getting it ready, you decided to sit down and read some books, so whose fault is that?
After all, I have to do all this cleaning myself. Simply look at the state of this study. Oh, it's so far gone from its glory days.
Didn't you say it was pristine?
I did, and I stand by that. Virology labs wish they were this clean. Either Elias is a perfectionist beyond compare, or he and I are seeing two different versions of the manor. And yet, I find these rooms quite beautiful.
Just wait, and be amazed.
I'm ready.
I will have to find new staff quite soon. Sadly, they did not stay with me as I left my body behind. Oh, if only they had.
Now, don't get too preoccupied with the staff. You have all the time in the world to replace them.
On the contrary, arrangements must be made with all haste.
Did he hit me? What was that noise? Arrangements for what?
Our wedding, of course.
Of course, silly me. How could I forget? Taylor chokes on his spit through the earpiece while I stand there and replay that last sentence in my head. I can't blame Elias for wanting to rush after decades of waiting, but Taylor mutters something indiscernible under his breath. I feel the same, though. I might be in more trouble than I expected. But I've only just been left at the altar, my dear. A long time for you has only been a sunset for me. I ask you graciously to let us seek a compromise. Elias tilts his head once more, eyes locked with mine.
But your heart... I can hear its soft, gentle tears fall upon your soul.
I'm sure you can, bud. I'm sure you can.
I promise you, my dears, that a heart does not heal easily. No matter how many tales of tragedy and hardship one may read, reality is much more painful. Why, my own heart has been broken more than a dozen times over the course of my life. And alas, it has never once healed, only turned to an aching scar. And I have tried my damnedest to ignore these wounds, to let them bleed out and coagulate into some semblance of strength. But it left me sickly instead. If a heart is to be mended, surgery must be immediate.
Surgery? hope that's a metaphor. Elias takes my hands into his cold, ethereal grasp.
And here before you is someone who can mend your broken heart. Someone who can cherish you, stay with you, create happiness for you. I never had that chance in my own mortal life. And after so long, my dearest, I want you to choose happiness, not sorrow. And I want to be the one to give you that happiness.
But you don't even know what that means for me. You don't even know what that entails because you don't know me. At all. I'm flattered. Something in his words rings truer to my heart than I would have expected. All I'm doing is playing along, acting my part. But if I had really been left at the altar, would I?
Whatever you do not trust him. At all.
Why? 'Cause he killed his whole family? Maybe? Ah! Taylor's voice snaps me from my thought.
But also, don't do anything to upset him. Play it as cool as possible. Elias gave you a very thin rope to walk. Don't fall down. Do you understand?
Got it. I got this. I can walk a tightrope. Or at least fake it. Why not show me what else there is to Elias Gallagher? Let me indulge in my groom before I marry my husband.
Yes, we shall do that. But I cannot wait forever either. The taste of eternity I've already supped upon is nigh unbearable. Join your groom in helping him plan our wedding.
Yeah, that'll help me get to know you. Taylor once more grumbles something inaudible. And what does my dear groom need help with? Elias gives a thoughtful pause.
Now let me think. I'd love your assistance with the floral arrangements. I have all the flowers of New England in my hands. It shall be difficult to select only a few.
To prove his claim, he presents his open palms to me. A smorgasbord of tiny sample flowers sprout and bloom for my perusal. Is this new? Like, is this something that is manifesting because he's a ghost? Or was he able to do this when he was alive? That's so many. You'll have to narrow it down for me, else I could never choose. And surely you'd want me to be selective.
Of course. And after that, a cake. I know my grandmother's recipes are still in this house, and I should set off on finding them. I've tasted them all when I was still in the flesh, and they're delightful. As such, I leave the choice of cake to you.
I can certainly do that.
And finally, since you'll be marrying into my distinguished family, I'm eager to bestow upon you a gift suitable of that prestige. I shall lead you to my treasury and introduce you to the family jewels.
Oh, he probably means real jewels. Delightful. So I shall pick the jewelry I wear for you?
Precisely.
Very well. And with that, I believe we have reached an agreeable compromise.
Then let us begin. Take my hand, and I'll lead you to the greenhouse.
Elias's hand isn't nearly as cold as earlier, but my fingers phase through his just slightly, all the same. It's enough to simulate the gesture of holding hands, at least. Satisfied with the arrangement, he leads me out of the study and back through the halls. As we walk, I re-examine my surroundings. It really is hard to believe just how much of a glow-up this place got.
Hey, partner. How are we holding up?
Splendid. I've always wanted to hold hands with the man I love. Elias casts me a sideways glance and blushes. I don't have the heart to tell him I don't really mean it. We pass through the foyer on our way to the other end of the manor. 2 hours I was knocked out for, huh? Elias is practically dragging me at this point. This set of hallways is almost identical to the other end, sans the glass double doors around the corner. Elias phases through so he can unlock and hold them open for me.
After you.
I take a step through the doorway, entering a world of flora. Seems the greenhouse still works as intended.
You shuddered a little. Is there a chill, my dear?
No, quite the opposite. Why, I'm surprised at how lovely the greenhouse looks already. Perhaps I'm exaggerating a bit. I can't even tell what plants used to grow in these planters. But my bouquet would be here. Elias could likely turn this from depressing to delightful before I could blink. Do you need any help restoring this greenhouse to its former glory?
I did, but no longer. Behold!
I watch Elias's eager hands dance upon the trellises, and without any more than a simple flourish, dozens of flowers, this time in full size and bloom, await my perusal. So he can just make stuff come to life? That's cool.
Voila! My dear, your flowers.
My eyes and nose are drawn to 3 flowers in particular, none of which should be growing on a trellis. An act of defiance, paranormal willpower, or simply Elias forgetting his botany. A classic red rose. It seems to be a different variant than the one I brought with me inside the manor, though not a climbing rose. A dazzling orange zinnia. The color reminds me of the soda I bring to the club room, though that's probably the least poetic thing to think about right now. And finally, a cute bunch of lyre flowers, vibrant and pink amongst the other blooms. I've always enjoyed their cheerful presence whenever I pass them by.
And there's more. Much more if these don't delight you.
No, I think one of these shall delight us both.
And which will that be, my dear?
The pink ones, duh. My favorite color. The lyre flowers, they're so delicate looking compared to the others. I think they'll make a perfect, understated centerpiece.
I see. They may be delicate, but they're passionate.
They're flowers, they don't have feelings.
Lyre flowers, also known as bleeding hearts, lady in a bath, or even Venus's car, are flowers representative of a kind soul.
They're perfect!
And what other perfect petals may we pick for this bouquet? There are many accoutrements to select from. I trust you to choose well.
Let me see. My hand gravitates towards a bunch of simple white flowers to go with the lyre flowers, while I ignore Taylor's childish whining over the earpiece.
Ah, white poppies. They live in the realm of dreams, and kindness, and consolation.
More white. White roses, something simple and basic.
Flowers of purity, reverence, secrecy.
My instincts lead me to a handful of tiny little purple pinpoints of petals. For an accent, I suppose.
The stone crops are tranquil, serene. A cure for a broken heart.
Good choices so far? A frown tinges Elias's lips.
Yes.
You sound unsure. Not just unsure, but almost on the verge of a panic attack, though that probably isn't a good thing to say to him.
They're very familiar choices to me. And perhaps familiar to you. What bouquet did you carry to the altar before?
About that. He looks at me sternly, brows furrowed in concern.
Crap! Didn't think you'd actually ask that. Make something up.
Truthfully, I can barely recall. They weren't picked by me. I can only remember a haze of blues and pinks through the tears.
I'm so sorry. Perhaps that was too much for you at this moment.
Too much. It's so fresh. It happened less than 24 hours ago, so.
But I do think you are being hasty. The flowers are lovely together, but the lyre flowers are so dominant. A little too passionate.
You were the one who wanted to get married 2 hours after you met me. But yes, the flowers I chose. Too passionate. Let me choose one more as a proper compliment.
Please do, and take your time. Nothing will hurt you here. I will make sure of that.
Are there things here that want to hurt me?
Uh-huh. Sure you will.
I look over the flowers as slowly as I can, hoping that I can find one that Elias won't freak out over. God, who thought picking flowers would be so stressful? I'm honestly just choosing what looks aesthetically pleasing. Perhaps something with heavy contrast. Here's something deep blue and sharp. I think this will have to do. This flower, if you don't mind? I think he minds.
Hey, what's going on?
I think I fucked up. Maybe not, dear?
I'm getting static again. The hell?
You can say no.
Violet.
Hey, status report. You're cutting out again.
Violet, his betrothed that murdered him? Something crashes to the ground and shatters like a meteor striking the mansion, and a spotlight shines on my regretful face. And the sun is out? The sharp rays of light beam through the greenhouse glass, and all I can see is haze. Something is very wrong. Movement, shadows outside a window. Dare I to look? I have to look. An archway, a gazebo baking in the blazing sun, a lush garden with the promise of life, sickeningly sweet scents hanging in the air. She brushes past me like I'm not there. Who is she? Who is she? Elias knows. Elias must know. Violet? She walks between the shadows cast by the trees, through the arch, under the gazebo. And still she's here beside me. Even so far away, she's still here. The wind catches her sun hat while the sun hits a single point on her bosom, reflecting right into my eyes. Violet's gown, Violet's trail, they stretch into a past that refuses to be forgotten. I look for Elias, wonder why I cannot see him, and call his name to the sea of green shrubbery. The garden cannot be asked to care. Violet turns her head towards the interrupter. I see. Elias crumbles towards the ground. Without thinking, I try to catch him in my arms to keep him from collapsing. Well, as much as one can keep a ghost from collapsing, at least. Cecily. I didn't know I could catch you like that. Nothing remains besides myself, Elias, and the greenhouse. The day is gone, and the garden outside is gone, and Violet, too, is gone.
Hey, are you there?
Taylor's worried voice buzzes in my ear.
Everything went static for a minute.
Elias, I didn't mean to do anything that would hurt you.
No, you didn't. I left the flowers there after all. You chose fairly. And you made a beautiful bouquet.
Well, I made a beautiful one the first time. We would have been fine.
I apologize for worrying you.
Elias, go lay down, please. I'll redo the bouquet.
I assure you that won't be necessary, but thank you. I should clean this up.
We'll clean up together. We work in a tense silence to tidy the greenhouse. I'm worried about Elias, though I wonder what sort of exhaustion ghosts can feel.
My gratitude to you. I'm afraid I must take a moment to gather my wits before I look for my grandmother's recipes.
Do you want me to accompany you?
I'm flattered. But a bit of privacy would be appreciated.
Gotta be careful. I wouldn't want to know about you as a person. I understand. May I look around the manor while I wait? Elias stares past me, not answering for a moment.
You may, so long as you stay on the ground floor. And please, excuse the state of disarray the rooms may be in.
He bows, and I return the gesture. Not long after, he phases through a wall, leaving me alone in the greenhouse. What's on the upper floors? What you got up there? Can I have it?
Okay, you alone? Who was that woman?
You heard something?
I heard someone whispering through all the static. A woman, I think. Didn't sound like anyone I recognize.
I think I met Violet DuPont.
Is her spirit there too?
It was like a vision, I think. I don't know, just let me catch my breath.
Yeah, take your time.
My steps feel heavy as I return to the hallway. I wasn't expecting floral arrangements to be that intense.
Hey, are you doing all right now?
I'll live.
Might be time to see what you can get up to before your rendezvous with Elias.
I nod my head, as if Taylor can somehow see me through the earpiece. Back to where it all began. The dust isn't so thick now, and while it doesn't look all too fabulous compared to the rest of the place, it looks a little less uninviting. Hey, you remember that painting I mentioned before? In the foyer?
On the second floor. Yep. What about it?
I think I can make out a few of the details better now. Maybe even get a pic of it. I test my foot on the first step and angle my camera up to snap a photo of the frame. When the deed is done, I text it to Taylor. Here you go. If I had to hazard a guess, then this style of painting would be Impressionism. It was all the rage in the late 19th century, so it fit the timeline. Know anything about the subject?
It's probably a portrait of one of the Gallagher ladies. What better way to flaunt wealth and status than by paying someone to preserve your likeness with expensive materials?
I zoom in on the photo I took and study the details. I assume Taylor's doing the same. Those earrings and necklace. The size of that ring, too. Damn. That's too rich for my blood.
Probably the precious family jewels Elias was telling you about.
Taylor snickers. I roll my eyes with a groan.
Anyways, I'll look into this and see if I can get an exact match for who it might be. Keep hunting around?
You got it. Roger that. So far, this dude's very intense. I want to know how much he played into the family curse and how the hell we're going to get out of this situation. But I'm really enjoying the voice acting. I really like that that's what this developer does, is like the full voice acting for their characters. It's awesome. And I am enjoying it. And I can't wait to get back into it. Don't go around throwing roses willy-nilly. And I'll see you later.